Hi, I'm Amber Chandler, and I want to tell you a story. I want to tell you a story about how this book came to be. And it came to be because of my breakfast club. My breakfast club consists of three other teachers. We sit around a very rickety table. We all teach English together, and we convene there. Sometimes we're lesson planning, sometimes we're just chatting, but almost always we're there. And that set community has been a tremendous impact on my life in very positive ways. We have been together when someone has died in our family and we're grieving and there's trauma. We've been there together when one of our children triumphs over something and we're able to share like mommy moments. We've had those things. And it occurs to me, and it occurred to me as we were talking over these years, that we were just talking and we kept going around and around and around. And we were starting to feel frustrated. Last year was sort of a tipping point, I think, that we were complaining a lot more. I feel like we'd given up some of the hope, right? Like when we came back from COVID, we're teachers, we're excited, we're getting in there, we're doing this. And it's not that we still don't love teaching. That was never it. It's that we needed to reclaim connection with our students and we just couldn't figure out how. And over the years, it's gotten better and it is better. However, we acted like, not just my breakfast club, everybody acted like the pandemic was a blip, even though it was worldwide. In my life, there has been nothing else that is worldwide. And we act like it's not that big of a deal. And a lot of people don't want to talk about it anymore. And I don't want to talk about it anymore either. I want to talk about what happened after COVID because of COVID. And I want to talk about the after part. I think the screen addiction came from that like intense aloneness, boredom, all of those things. But that never became like the thing I blame, right? Definitely not. I have my technology too. But what occurred to me was we just don't have our groups. We don't have our people. People don't have their community. They don't have their breakfast club. And I know people have friends and it's similar, but this was almost like we had our mini little think tank, right? Because we were going to solve the world's problems before breakfast, right? With our coffee. And we kind of would hit on things every once in a while. I'm like, we should like really think about this, or that sounds good. And everybody there knows I'm a writer. And so a lot of times I would jot something down and I'd write a blog. I blog a lot for Share My Lesson. And I'd have these mini little epiphanies with this group. And I realized though one day that I don't think the group was enough, right? Like I love us, but we have a lot of similar ideas about things, differences too. But I realized that I really thought I needed to talk to other people. Did not know who those other people were. The idea of being a journalist made me like, ugh, I didn't want to do it. Made me sick. Made me nervous too. And so I decided I was just going to see what happened. And I kept writing down my ideas and just running things by people. And I didn't really tell the Breakfast Club this was my plan. But one day after we had gotten to this moment where we were like, everybody thinks they're connected, but they're not. And that moment, I remember standing up, it was time to go to class, had to get ready to go. And I remember pushing my chair in and thinking like, I have a book. Like I do have a book. And that moment, this story that I'm telling you from my Breakfast Club is pivotal to the book. But the other pivotal part of the book is when really cool, smart, somewhat famous people sometimes responded to my questions. It was life-changing, to say the least, to write a book sort of with other people woven into this book. Many of the people have their own books, and many of them are higher political offices, and it's very difficult to explain that it came from a little tiny community. And the ideas have just broadened as I talked with all of these different people and their willingness to talk to me. And I just wove it together into a story that has me and my life at the center of it, but it brings everybody together and it weaves together a lot of strands that I feel like we've all been ignoring, and we've got to get some of those strands sort of back together. So that's what Reclaiming Connection is. I thought you might be interested in how it came to be. And I also wanted to, give props to my Breakfast Club. They're my think tank. That's where I do my best thinking in the morning with my girls. And I really think that we're moving in the right direction, but we have to be intentional about it. And that intentionality is recognizing the problem. And we've heard a lot about this generation, which is great. But I think we have to be really intentional about how we plan for the next generation and how we make our steps right now, us and our kids and our students. There are things we can do, and that's what the book looks for. The people I talked to had a lot of great ideas about what to do, and they shared it with me, and it kind of came together as a really important idea about reclaiming connection. So I thought you might want to hear it. I appreciate your time, and I hope you like the book.